Hey everyone, I'm John, and I'm here today with my good friend Brent Moore. I've been trying to get Brent on for a little while now. I'm real excited about this. But Brent, thank you for joining us today.
Hey man, glad to be here.
So I want to get into your story in a minute, and before we do that, if you'll just give us kind of a brief introduction, just share a little bit about yourself, your family, business, hobbies, just kind of what's going on in your life right now.
Yeah, so Brent Moore, born and raised here in Valdosta, Georgia. Beautiful wife Amanda, and two children, Buck and Emmeline. They are into every sport, everything. So we nonstop. They're 9/11, so we're in all the fun activities and all the functions, and so that keeps us really busy. Um, I love my family. We love doing stuff together. We travel a lot. It's one of my favorite things to do with my family and travel, and then sports. And yeah, so right now, I started outdoor living, I guess 15 years ago. So it's what pays the bills. It's my main profession. And then also have a nonprofit ministry that I run called Redeem Living. And that keeps me busy as well. But outdoor living keeps me really busy. And then hobbies, oh man, I love to fish, I love to hunt, I love to golf. I'm not great at any of it, but good at all of it. Doing those. Recently started flying. I was just telling you about that. So that's been my new passion is aviation. So I'm getting my pilot's license right now, and I'll hope to be able to further expand that.
Yeah.
So
sounds good. So I want to get into your story, and I want to talk about your journey building your business. But before we do that, just take us all the way back. Tell us a little about your childhood, your upbringing, your relationship with your parents. Just tell us how that was for you.
yeah, so I have a wonderful mother, wonderful father. They divorced whenever I was, I think, 1 or 2. I really don't know. I don't remember. I never remembered my parents together. And so grew up in that, divorced family home. But my mom was a solid believer my whole life, and really she drugged me to church my whole life. And then me and my dad ended up getting a really good relationship later on, and was able to move in with him once I became a teenager, because every boy wants their dad, And so we did that for a little while, and then as I progressed later in life, I completely walked away from the church once I got into middle school. And then I started dabbling in drugs and alcohol. And by the time probably I was 15, I was drinking every day of the week, just about. And so by the time I graduated high school, which I barely graduated high school, I was full blown alcoholic, and then started messing with drugs, and just really went down a road of sin and just terrible lifestyle. And that was not a good moment in my life, but it eventually I went and got treatment. Eventually I went and got help, and I'll never forget the first time I actually went and tried to get help was in 2009. I realized I had an addiction and a problem. My drug of choice was cocaine, but I loved alcohol, and so I realized I had a problem, and I checked myself into a local treatment program, and I asked my mom. I said, "Mom, I want you to bring me my Bible," and she said, "Okay." She brought me my Bible, which was uncharacteristic of me. I hadn't looked at my Bible in years, probably, at this point, and so she brings me my Bible, and she had put a card from my grandfather. Me and my grandfather were really close. He was still alive at the time, but put a card in there. And so I opened my Bible up, and immediately it was on 2 Corinthians 5:17, which I actually have tattooed on my wrist, which says, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, or is a new creation, behold, the old is gone, the new has come." And
Crazy, I read that this morning.
so yeah, I mean, so that and immediately I just remember sitting there in Greenleaf is where I was at, and I just literally at the ground started crying. I was like, "God, I need you. I need to be a new creation, and I know that you can do that for me," because I had experienced some of a relationship with the Lord, but I never really surrendered my life to Him, and I don't believe it. I know for a fact I was never saved. But I knew who He was, and I knew that there was something missing. And so I just remember crying out, at that moment. I was like, "God, I need you to come into my life, and I need to surrender this to you." To which I felt confident that I did, but there was still stuff I still held on stuff, and I didn't let go of everything, and I really didn't fully surrender. So anyways, I get out of treatment. I stay sober for about 6 months. Got involved in unhealthy relationships, or relationship. And then, eventually, that drove me into sin, which led to another sin, which led to another sin, which eventually led to full-blown relapse, to which I went back out for almost a year and a half back in drug addiction. I got arrested a total of 7 times.
Wow.
And so, it's part of my story. And then 2011, March 20th, 2011, I was driving down the dirt road, ran out of gas, and nobody would answer the phone. And at that moment is whenever I said, God, I'm done. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of running. That was March 20th, 2011. And so anyway, so I was like, I got to stop this. And I knew I had a problem. And a buddy of mine had been inviting me to church for years. And so I reached out to him. I was like, hey, man, I'm going to make a change. And he's like, dude, come to, I forget what it was even called. It was something the Wesley Foundation used to put on Tuesday nights at college.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been called Pursuit. I said, come to this thing, and we'll be hanging out tomorrow night. Come. I was like, I'll come. And that night was the night I surrendered my life to the Lord. So it was March 22nd, 2011. And it was, the greatest day of my life, obviously.
Yeah.
And so that's whenever I fully surrendered. That's whenever I decided, God, I'm giving it all to you. And I had just started my business a week before. I went out on, I quit my job and said, I'm going to start my own thing. It's about a week before that is whenever that happened. And so thankfully I did that. I would never be where I'm at today if I'd have continued down the drugs and alcohol path. But yeah, so just began serving in the church, played drums. And so I started playing drums for the church. Yeah. At that point I was going to Park Avenue Methodist. So I was there for a year and a half. Mm-hmm. Served faithfully there, and man, I love the staff there, and everybody was so good to me. And it was a really good season of my life. And so, and then we later moved to Cross Point Church, and I've been serving there pretty much on and off since 2012. Mm-hmm. And so, but yeah, that's kind of my faith journey.
That's awesome.
Yep. And then I met my wife in 2012, and then we dated 4 months, engaged 4 months. And I was like, let's get this.
So you got married in 2012?
We got married in 2013. We met 2012, at the end of 2012, and then was married 8 months later.
Mm-hmm. So from the time, March 22nd, you gave your life to Christ and surrendered to him, did you ever have any more relapses after that?
No. So that was, and honestly, like when I fully gave it to the Lord, a lot of that went away.
Yeah.
A lot of people struggle with it. I mean, and I don't think that I know the struggle is real, and I know that it happens, and I understand that. But I deal with addiction every single day. But when I truly surrendered to the Lord, mm-hmm. It really was like, okay, I want to take this from you. Mm-hmm. And not to say that, like, I mean, I used to I knew what to do also. I knew not to go to the parties. I knew not to go around it. Me and my wife got married. We got invited to a few weddings. There was, massive alcohol there, stuff like that. I just like, we got to go. Yeah. Like I just knew that. I didn't want to put myself into that temptation. So the temptation was pretty much gone, but also pretty much, walked away from it as well. So,
God also changed your desires.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's awesome.
Took up eating.
Hey, that's a good hobby. But yeah, I'm with you on that. So you started your own business in 2011, right after you got saved.
It was right before, the week before.
Yeah. So tell us about that. Like, what were you doing before you went out on your own? Yeah. Were you in the landscaping business then?
No. So funny story. I went to work for the pool store. Loved my job there. My DMV got ran. Mm-hmm. And because I had been arrested twice for a DUI, I wasn't covered on their insurance anymore, so it wasn't like I could move up.
Yeah.
So it just wasn't a good fit for me.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I got to go out on my own and do something. And so, I mean, I couldn't find a job nowhere, with a background, nothing major, minor drug charges and alcohol charges, but it's so hard for the average person to be able to go find a decent job. Mm-hmm. FedEx at that time, especially now, they'll hire anybody.
Yeah.
FedEx, UPS, your non-college educated jobs, mm-hmm. was very difficult for anybody to find that paid, more than $10 an hour. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I got to do my own thing. And so that's what I did. Yeah. But
How'd you start it?
yeah, so I had a couple customers that I'd met, just friends that said, "Hey, I'll let you clean my pool." So I had two people that I started cleaning their pool. That's what I was doing. Was actually what I started my business to, was clean pools. Dr. Kendrick, guy, is a dear friend of mine and just an amazing person who helped me really get started. And he let me borrow his equipment and stuff to clean this pool that I cleaned this pool with, and I started cleaning a few more pools, and then my roommate at the time, his mom had a couple rental properties. She said, I need a yard cut at him. And I was like, hey, Doc, can I borrow your lawnmower to cut you 2 properties? And he said, sure. And then here we are, the number 98 on the top 100 in the lawn landscape magazine companies in the country.
Man, that's
So,
awesome.
yeah, so it's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
So that's kind of, I always say I accidentally fell in love with cutting grass. And then, so that's what we really started capitalizing on that and growing
Yeah.
the lawn maintenance division. And it was my favorite division. And then 2 years ago, I actually sold my company and quit cleaning. So,
I didn't know you started cleaning pools. I didn't know that was the kind of original
name was Proficient Pool and Lawn Service.
Okay.
So if you look up the definition of proficient, it means specializing in one thing. But then I added 2 things on there. So it really was, it didn't make sense. But I was a, dumb 21, 22-year-old and didn't really know what I was doing. So, but yeah, so that was the original name, was Proficient Pool and Lawn Service.
Yeah.
Then we changed it to Proficient Pool Landscaping and then Outdoor Living. Now we're operating in all Lowndes County surrounding areas, Brunswick, St. Simons area, Gainesville, Tallahassee. Got a couple things in the works in Jacksonville. And then next on the list is kind of anywhere really in a 4-hour radius of Valdosta. But we're trying to really get in the 2.5-hour radius right now.
Wow.
Warner Robins, all the way up to Columbus, is kind of what we're doing. So,
And then when you get the jet, it'll be Dallas.
yeah, so I always say that's whenever, not necessarily that I've made it, but that's my retirement goal.
Yeah.
My retirement goal is to open an office in Dallas so that I can fly there whenever I want to. Yes.
Yeah.
I love the Dallas area.
So how many employees do you have?
Currently, we're, I think, 64.
Wow.
Yep.
So
My goal was 5 employees in 10 years. That was when I originally started. I wrote it down. I said I want to have 5 team members in 10 years. And I hit, I don't know, I had 40, hit 10-year mark, 30 something at 10-year mark.
God's just blessed your business.
Yeah, man.
Could you have imagined starting out cleaning pools that it would be what it is now?
No, I mean, because I've always been a visionary. I dream big. It's just my nature to dream big, and drives my wife nuts sometimes. But then she also thinks it's cute. But anyways, so yeah, I mean, I've always just been a big dreamer, but like, you can't dream that when you're 20, 21, 22 years old, non-college educated, have no idea about the industry. I just knew that I wanted to work hard and I wanted to build something bigger than myself.
Yeah.
And to do something to be able to fund the mission as well. And so, I mean, I have clear goals where I've wrote down, kind of where my goal is to be able to serve more in the mission field, to be able to, give more and those kind of things. And so I knew that was kind of what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
About 5 years ago, we had started going to church at a little small Baptist church for a little while. We had left Cross Point, started going to this church for a little while. I really felt the Lord calling me to go somewhere to serve. And so I went to my pastor there, Roger Culpepper, phenomenal man of God. And I just told him one day, I said, I feel like the Lord's calling me to ministry. And he said, what does that look like? I said, I don't know. He said, well, let's start looking through it together. And so he started doing a lot of one-on-one discipleship with me. Every week we met, started doing some pastoral training and stuff. And I mean, we did that faithfully for probably a year and a half. And I mean, it was a phenomenal growth in my life. And at that point, I was really wrestling, like, am I supposed to sell this business, and go into full-time ministry because I feel this calling. And then it was like back to back to back to back, like different issues I was dealing with, team members, different issues I was dealing with. I mean, I even had some customers, it was, different things with. And I was like, this is my ministry. Like, the Lord has given me a platform that not many people can have
Mm-hmm.
because of the 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 team members we work with, the customers we work with. I mean, I get the opportunity just as good as any pastor on a Sunday morning to hear the gospel and to make an impact. We have quarterly meetings every single quarter, and there is a 100% chance you come to my quarterly meeting as a team member, you're going to hear the gospel. And that's just something we do. We do monthly breakfast devotionals, and we bring in a guest speaker every month. And, it's the platform that God has given me is that business.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And you pour in a lot to your employees too. Talk a little bit about how you integrated faith into your business, like specifically with your employees. I know y'all do like quarterly outings where y'all just go out, you take them out to a nice dinner, and y'all do paintball wars or whatever.
Yeah.
Talk about how you've integrated faith into the business.
Yeah. So part of my mission is we're family.
Yeah.
And that's just what I really want to treat the business as a family. And so I look at it as, how would I want someone to treat my daughter if she went to work at this company?
Mm-hmm.
How would I want somebody to treat my son or my wife if they came to work at this company? And then what can I do to give back and show these people that I love them? Mm-hmm. And so every quarter we do it's a quarterly event is what we call it. Q1 we do a food bank. We go to serve at the food bank, have a box packing competition, and that is really fun. I've won both years, but they say I haven't. It's just, I don't know.
It's just how it is.
Yeah,
it's rigged.
Yeah. And so we do that, and then we go do a golf tournament. And it's just fun because a lot of the people that work with me have never swung a golf club, much less played a kid with a golf course.
Yeah.
And so, going out there and playing a golf tournament, it's just a lot of fun. And then, so that's Q1, Q2, we go to Wild Adventures, and we rent out a big room there and feed everybody, and everybody's able to enjoy the park on us and bring the families. And then Q3, we go down to Jacksonville, eat Brazilian steakhouse and airsoft. And that's just, that's the life. The girls go get pedicures. But the guys, that's what we do. We airsoft and go eat Brazilian steakhouse. And then Q4, we throw a big Christmas party. Everybody's family comes. We get gifts for all the kids and that kind of stuff. And so, but at each one of these meetings, we generally have a topic of discussion. And, I'll bring in, like I brought in our financial advisor one time to come in and talk about financial advisor and stuff. I brought in a pastor. We just bring in different people to kind of to be able to pour into these guys and girls and, really, try to, help them in the different ways that we can.
Yeah.
And then every month, like I said, we do a breakfast devotional where we, really, we feed everybody and have somebody bring a message. I did it for the first couple months. I was like, these people are tired of hearing me.
Mm-hmm.
So I started finding some guest speakers. So I need to get you to come.
Yeah, man, you loves it. Absolutely. It's really cool how you can leverage the platform God gives you in your workplace, and it's just as significant of a mission field as going to Africa or India or anywhere around the world. I mean, Luke and I came in this morning. We had actually a client of mine brought a pastor in from Kenya. He's in for the week, but we stood in here and we prayed in the lobby. And I tell people all the time, I've had so many opportunities with clients I work with. They tell me about a diagnosis they receive or a divorce they're going through or a child that's sick, and I get to pray with them and share the gospel with them. And so I think we need more Christians in the workplace, in the business world, to point people to Christ. You don't have to be a vocational minister or pastor to live out your faith and live on mission.
I read a book early in my faith called Of the Monk and the Merchant, I think it was. I know it's Monk and Merchant, but I think it's called Of the Monk and the Merchant. And it talks about how the role of the merchant is so crucial, to be able to fund the mission of the church. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people, they get saved and they're young, like, I want to go in the mission field. I want to be this uber Christian or whatever. And it's like, we need people in every line of work. We need people in your sector of work, in the financial advisor realm, to dealing with these clients, you know, and telling them, you know, how to be a steward of the money,
Yeah.
you know, and then also being able to share the gospel with those people. And the same thing in my line of work in the service industry, we need that just as much as anywhere. And so, you know, but it talks about that as how sometimes we're called to ministry, and that's our ministry, but also we can still be by vocation as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And as Christians, you know, we're always living life on mission. I mean, it never stops.
Yeah.
We're constantly looking for opportunities to share the gospel. But I love how you've leveraged your platform as a business owner. You got 64 employees. A lot of your employees came from a similar background that you came from, where they're you know, in rehab. And we'll talk more about your ministry in a minute. But talk about some of the people that you have working for you and kind of what they're going through, or what you've helped pull them out of.
Yeah. So I mean, I've hired many of college-educated people who have came through some form of rehabilitation program. You know, they're like, I tired the white-collar lifestyle, you know, and but then I've also, you know, hired people who came from my same upbringing. You know, some of them never went to college. My highest paid field laborer didn't even graduate high school, didn't have a GED. You know, and I mean, it's making dang good money. You know, and so it's kind of like we want to find anybody and everybody from every different realm of life. But what we have found is that in our industry, anybody we can help get to the next level is what we want to do. And so whenever you come to work with me, we sit in my onboarding. I do it every week. I think I have one next Thursday, every quarter rather. We do an onboarding, like the orientation. This was going. And I tell everybody in that orientation, like, this isn't a career for everybody, but my goal is that whenever you leave here, you're a better person.
Yeah.
And that I help you become a better you, so that you can go to the next place, to the next place, to the next place, whatever it may be. But I tell them, as long as you're leaving me for a better opportunity, I'm gonna walk here. I'm gonna walk you to the door, as long as you're leaving me for a better opportunity. And because that's what I want to help people do. And so, I mean, I have guys that they'll come in and they're like, dude, I want to run a lawnmower for the rest of my life. Don't give me any more responsibility. I'll fill in as a crew leader as you need me to. But that's what I want to do. Hey man, I got a job for that guy till he's 70 years old. Like, I'm good with that. I've got some guys that come here and say, hey man, I want to be in the office one day. Yeah. And so we want to put you on the path. And so, you know, I think we have 10 overhead positions. You know, so you've got these are good positions that we have people have career opportunities for. Yeah. That, you know, they wouldn't have been able to get, because like I said, it's so hard. You know, if you've been arrested for a possession of marijuana charge when you were 21 years old, and it's that
Stays with you.
and you're stuck.
Yeah.
You know, my dad always told me that whenever I was growing. He's like, you get a mess around out there drinking and driving, you're going to get in trouble and you'll be able to get a good job. And,
Yeah.
you know, and it was true, you know, so I realized I had to go to work for myself to be able to do that. And it was provide that same opportunity for other people who are not having to self-employed.
Right.
So, but yeah, so so my ministry, we employ several of the guys right now. I think we only have 2 out of the 8 or 9 guys there in the ministry that work with me. You know, so we help place them in jobs through my ministry. Some of them, you know, they were like, nah, I really want to work in landscaping. I'll hire them, but I don't try to.
Yeah.
You know, I make them apply just like anybody else.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, 2 of my top guys, went through treatment, and one of them came through our program, ended up becoming the director of our program, and now is on the board. And you know, he's one of my top 3 guys.
Yeah.
And you know, one of my other number 2, number 3 guys, he's been in 4 or 5 different treatment programs, and really restored his life, and you know, so he's able to give back now. So it's really cool that I have these guys in leadership now. They're able to do what I was doing. You know, to be that mentor and be that disciple. You know, showing these people what Christ looks like, and also showing how to live life in recovery. And so, yeah, it's funny. People come there and like, you don't want to mess around here, and like they'll catch you. You know, because you know you ain't gonna come around our place and do drugs and start drinking. You know, job. Well, you'll be caught usually within about 2 hours. So, because everybody got an eye for it. So.
Yeah. It's unusual to have that kind of culture in the landscape and in the junction. It's unheard of.
Legally unusual. I go to all these conferences and stuff, and I stick out like a sore thumb. One, because I'm a redneck. But then two, I don't drink. And so when I go to these conferences, man, it's like everybody just goes to drink, and it's just like, hey, walk around to drink. And it's like, let me tell you what.
Yeah.
You know, I get to tell them my story and tell them, you know, about the Lord, and you're like, man, it's just so awesome.
Yeah.
I think as they're chugging a beer, I really admire you. And it's like, do you?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I mean, it's just, so it's cool to stand out and different. And I think that's what's allowed us to build our organization and what we built it to, especially me being, you know, so dumb redneck from South Georgia, is the Lord honors that.
Yeah.
Because of what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I'll be the first one to tell you, it's all Lord's, it ain't mine.
Yeah.
Take it from me tomorrow, just like He gave it to me over the last 15 years now. So, and I firmly believe that.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
I'm honored. So, insane. That's why I really attribute our success to.
It's really cool to see you not focus on the bottom line and profit and the margins, because so many business people are just focused on, you know, squeezing as much as they can out of their employees, paying them as little as possible so that they have more bottom line. But you've poured into your people, you invest in them, you pay them well, you take care of them. And I love, you know, Matthew 6:33, seek first the kingdom of God and all these things will be added to you. And, you know, I've seen that with so many people. Like, you do things with the right motives, you do things to be a blessing to people, you serve God first, and then He takes care of the rest.
Yeah.
My grandpa had a quote I love, and I'll probably butcher it, but basically he said, if you take care of God's business, God will take care of your business. And believe me, that's a really good deal.
Yeah.
And that's so evident with your business, you know, starting out just by yourself, cleaning pools, and now you're top 100 landscaping company. I mean, that's all attributed to God.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
For sure.
the architect behind it all. So
For sure.
that's awesome. So talk a little bit about your ministry, Brett. Brent, I just saw, you know, Brett this weekend. Talk about your ministry, Redeemed. How'd you come up with the name for that?
Yeah, so Big Daddy Weave had this song come out back in, I guess 2013, I'm Redeemed, and that was like my anthem for the longest time. And there's a few songs that have really stuck with me, but big contemporary worship guy. You know, I really feel like worship is a guiding thing in our lives. Yeah, so, you know, music, obviously through music, and then, you know, obviously worshiping through prayer and meditation as well. But music as a musician is really what I think drew me closest to the Lord. Plenty of songs. And so, but I'm Redeemed was always, it was kind of my anthem for the longest time.
It's a good one.
And so that was kind of like my anthem. And then, so I started, I was part of the founding leadership team at Cross Point Church to found Celebrate Recovery. They're all over the country, but we opened one in Valdosta at Celebrate at Cross Point. And so we played that song very regularly there. And in 2013, right after I got married, so then 2014, year after I got married, I kind of stepped back from serving, and it was about it. We just had we were pregnant with our first child. She was born in April of 15. And so at that point, you know, I didn't really have a lot of time to serve. New dad, grow a business, you know, what do I do, you know? And so, it's fast forward 6 months to a year, I was like, baby, it's time for us to start serving. And so I was like, I need to start praying through like really what the Lord wants me to do in ministry. And so one night I was in men's Bible study. We're going through a series called 33 series. Awesome series. And the Lord just clear as day put it on our that night. He said, you need to open up a home for men who are struggling with addiction. And I'm like, what? Like, this is crazy. I had two guys, one of them is no longer with us, one of them still lives here, that were working with me that didn't have a safe place to go. They were struggling with addiction. One of them was living at home, another one was living in a terrible sober living facility around here that's no longer in existence, I don't think. And it was just a very bad situation for both of them because they didn't have nowhere safe to go. So it's kind of where the Lord birthed that, was like, this is what you need to do. You need to open up a safe place for men to go whenever they're needing treatment that's faith-based, because a lot of these places aren't faith-based. Insurance won't pay for it if it's faith-based. And that's what drives the health industry and recovery series insurance. So I go home that night, man is laying in bed, and I'm like, baby, the Lord put this on my heart. And she's like, whatever. It's like, no, you don't understand. Like, God told me to do this. And she's like, I'm not listening to this.
We'll talk.
Go to bed. And I was like, because I come home from Bible study and I'm always just jacked up.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm here half asleep. It's 9:30 at night. So just getting home from Bible study. Leave me alone. And she's like, whatever, just pray about it and, whatever. So I was like, the heck, like, you're supposed to be supportive of me and like the Lord. And because my wife's an awesome, godly woman. So I'm like thinking she's going to be excited, yes, we finally have somewhere to serve the Lord again, And I think she told me to pray about it for a month or something like that. So it was about a month later I went to her. I said, we've been praying about it. Lord told me to do this. She's like, here we go. Because she's used to me as the visionary, the big picture. Yeah, always presenting business ideas and, different things to her. We tried to buy a wedding venue one time and, talked about opening different businesses and stuff over the years in restaurants. And thankfully, she's not letting me do that. So anyways, so I told her, and so she was like, all right. She starts writing everything else. She starts asking me questions. I was like, I don't know. We'll figure it out. She's like, well, what about where it's going to be? I'm like, I don't know. Well, who are we going to have run it? I was like, we can. She's like, we don't have time. Who's going to run it? And she's the checklist and the
organizer.
The organizer, everything. And I'm just like, let's go. And so that was November-ish of 2015. And March of 2016, we opened the doors. And Lord just literally put everything in place. I told my mom about it, that I wanted to do it. She had a conversation with a guy that we were interviewing for a job, and he was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome that Brent wants to give in recovery. I know a guy that's currently at another place that wants to go to work somewhere else. So I was able to hire a guy to come run it. I mean, then my mom couldn't sell her house. She didn't know our house wouldn't sell. So we found a place to run it. The day before we were supposed to open, I thought there was furniture there for some reason. It was just me. And we walk in with my director that I hired is moving into the house, and we walk in and there's no furniture. Yeah, there's like a pull-out couch, I think. And I was like, what are we going to do? And man, it was like, I got an idea. Let's post on social media. We posted on social media that night. The next afternoon, we had to go rent a storage unit. We had fully furnished the entire house and had to go rent a storage unit and put the overflow in there. Literally within 24 hours, it was right in this house. God filled the house up with 5 awesome dudes within, a month. And it's been really good since. So we've been able to help. I think we've had about 60 guys come through the program. Wow. And what's cool about this, so if you know anything about statistics with recovery, the average success is about 10%, 10 to 20%, depending on which study you want to look at. If you come through our program and you stick to our program and you finish out 12 months, right now we have over a 90% success rate. Wow. And a lot of that is attributed to faith-based. All of it is attributed to Fridays. Because the people who come through the program who really get it and stick to the faith part of it, they're able to know how to live life, and get plugged into a church, to get plugged in with people in the community, and that's what it's about.
So you've purchased a property since then?
Yeah. So we bought 23 acres, right outside the city limits, and have a master plan to develop it to 6 houses and 16 cabins. And our goal is long-term treatment. Yeah. As well as I know, it's not easy to live cheap by yourself.
Yeah.
And so what happens is these men, they go, I can't afford to live on my own, or you can't save money. Even if you make I mean, I think the studies show that you got to make a joint household income of almost $100,000 to be able to live a comfortable life now. And so you get somebody fresh out of recovery, you know, and so they come in through a treatment program, and then we help place them in jobs. And then every 5 nights a week, they have to attend some form of Bible study or 12-step program.
Okay.
And then they have to. We have a couple of churches that they're approved to go to, and then they go to those churches. We help provide them transportation to and from meetings, church, work. And then once they've been there a while, we help them get their license back. Some of them don't have a license, some of them don't have vehicles. And then the ones that are married, our goal is to get their marriage restored within 6 to 12 months and get them back home.
Good.
And so that's what we really want. But we do see the most time minimum that it takes is about 6 months for that healing process to happen with them and their spouse. Because usually by the time they've made it to treatment, they've made some bad decisions, and their spouses, use up some trust issues.
Yeah.
And so
does the ministry fully fund the 12-month program, or are they having to chip in?
Yeah, so the way it works is so their program fees covers about half the cost of the ministry.
Okay.
And so then we rely on donors to cover the rest of the cost. But so they pay I think it's like $250 a week, and that covers rent, utilities, and everything. And then and so which it makes it affordable to live.
Yeah.
I mean, their groceries are included that as well. So I mean, it's turnkey. You don't have to worry about anything.
Pretty good deal for them. It's really cool though, because they can look at you and your testimony and say, like, man, Brent was where I am right now, like literally, and God's redeemed his life and changed him, and so it can be done. They can look to you and see that it can be done, and you have that testimony. So that's really cool. So Brent, tell us a little bit about, like, you're running a big business, you got your family, you got the ministry you run, so you got a lot of irons in the fire. What do you do to decompress, to get away, hobbies? You were telling me a little bit about that before we started, but what are some of your hobbies and things you do to decompress and get away?
Yeah, so, gosh, I guess almost 10 years ago now, I was very unhealthy. Like I said, when I sobered up, I started eating. I got very unhealthy, and so I got hooked up with some really good people along the way who really poured into me and my health. And we started our health journey back in, I guess, 2017. And started CrossFit. That was what I originally started. Now
that's where I met you, I think.
Yeah,
5 or 6 years ago. Yeah.
So I got real deep into CrossFit, and I started, just really focusing on my health. And that's what really helped me get balanced. And I do traditional training now at Edge Performance, but yeah, so that's what I do now, and so that's my outlet. Like, I have to get my training in.
How many days a week are you doing that?
I go to Edge 4 days a week, probably. I mean, I can get some 5 days in there.
Hey, four days solid.
I don't know, but my goal is to train 5 days a week.
Yeah.
I like to get up on Saturday mornings, go for a run if I can, and then get my my training in at the gym 4 days a week. I have a whole CrossFit gym type set up at my office, all the cardio machines, everything, and so I'll pump out a workout at the office every now and then.
Yeah, you should be the setup there.
It's hard to do it by myself. I have to have some form of group, which is why I love what I do now. I don't need somebody to tell me what to do, but it makes it a lot easier because I just don't have to think.
Yeah.
I make hundreds of decisions all day and have to think about everything all day. So if I could just go in and be like, tell me what to do next.
Yeah.
It's just nice. But so that's where I decompress. I'm a stickler to every morning I stretch and pray every single morning. The first thing I do when I get up after I get out of the shower is do that. And then I go to the gym. I stay grounded in my word. Whenever I don't do that regularly, it's not good.
You can tell
it's not good.
Yeah.
And so that's a big part of my life. And then I have fun. I mean, I love to have fun, and drives my wife nuts. But because I've always got to be doing something, and that's what I preach to my guys at work and the guys to the ministry is like, you got to replace this addiction or whatever it is with fun.
Pickleball.
Yeah, pickleball. We love playing pickleball. Yes,
She's gotten good.
she's gotten so.
Man, I played her like 3 weeks
I
ago.
know.
She's gotten really good.
I know. It's hard to play with her because all of her and her friends are too good for me.
And she's competitive too.
She's super
Yeah.
competitive.
It was only a matter of time before she got
I just
good.
here to play cards.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
She comes after you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
can see that.
Yep. She's a savage of dead. Run me and go fish.
Yeah.
You're done.
I can see that.
Yeah. But yeah, so that pickleball, like I said, I took up aviation. I'm trying to get my pilot's license right now. That's stressful though.
I'm sure.
But it's fun. I mean, like I enjoy watching the videos and learning about it, and so. But yeah, I mean, and then just having fun with my family. We travel a lot. Like I said, we travel a lot. And so.
And your kids are at the age now where they're very involved in sports.
Yeah. So my daughter, she's a big volleyballer.
Yeah.
So it's my new favorite sport.
It's fun to watch.
It is so much fun to watch. There's not as much subjective calls and stuff as baseball and football and basketball. You argue with the refs at VLPRA.
Yeah.
And, so it's just nice to be able to go to those volleyball tournaments. And then my son's big time baseball and golf.
Yeah.
And so we love to do that. So
And he hunts with good stuff too, I'm sure.
we love to hunt.
Yeah. If your name's Luck, you have to hunt. Like, you don't really have a choice.
He has killed a deer bigger than me. At 7 years old.
Man.
He has caught more 3 to 5 pound bass than I've ever caught. And
He's on a good trajectory.
he's got his own YouTube channel, Outdoor Buck. And so he loves to fish and hunt and have fun and awesome. All energy. And my daughter is a ball of joy and a ball of energy. And,
Yeah.
so she's one of those, like, I can be like, hey, you want to go to Atlanta right now? And she's like, let's go.
Yeah.
And my wife's like, we got to pack. We got to do this. And
Yeah.
I was like, let's go. And she's got her go bag ready.
I think it's really important when you have a lot of hats that you wear. It's important to be able to decompress, and like, get away and just get your mind off of work and not have to make decisions and just do things you enjoy doing. And whether it's, golf, pickleball, working out, hanging out with friends and family, it's just really important, I think, to be able to get away and get your mind off everything. Yeah. So I know you have a lot of different hobbies. Brent, just kind of to close out, I'd love to hear from you what your life verse is, or if you have a couple verses that are really impactful. I know you mentioned 2 Corinthians 5:17 already, but any other verses that are really impactful to you that you kind of would say are your life?
Man, that would be my life verse for sure.
Yeah.
Because I think one of the things so many people get hung up on is who we used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And once you're in Christ, you're completely new creation.
Yeah.
Like, that person's gone. One of the big sayings in recovery is my name's Brent, I'm an alcoholic. And it's like, no, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
That's not who I am anymore. I'm a child of God. I'm a follower of Christ. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm all these new things. And so I think standing on that you are a new person whenever you enter that relationship with Christ. And so I think that would be my biggest life verse.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm studying through the Old Testament right now. And so, I've got love Samuel, so I've been doing a lot of that study as well. So I don't know. I mean, I'd definitely say 2 Corinthians 5:17 is my favorite.
Yeah. What would you say to someone watching who's struggling with some form of addiction now? Could be drugs, could be alcohol, pornography, just some sort of addiction. What would you say to that person who just feels like they're stuck in a rut or trapped, they can't get out of it?
Man, give it to the Lord. I mean, and it's so easy for me to say, it's so easy to say, on the other side of this, but
you actually did it.
But yeah, I mean, just whenever you fully surrender, and it's that complete 180, that repentance, which where you have to say, God, I need you, and I'm tired of living this way. And that's what I did. And I mean, I think that was a true repentance of, like, I didn't really know what the definition of repentance was. And I didn't really know all that, but I knew I needed something that would save me. And I knew I had to go turn away from it.
Yeah.
So, so definitely that. But then finding the people in your life that are going to make you a better person according to you. And that's what I did. Whenever I got saved, man, I surrounded myself with so many godly people.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean, I just wanted to be around godly people. I didn't go around those old people anymore. And so finding those, specifically for men, finding another man that you can do life with, that you can share those burdens with, share those different things that you struggle with. It's amazing how many men I talk to that I sit across from just like this, and we start diving in the word or whatever, and we talk about pornography, and you just freeze up and like, I don't want to talk about it. It's like, how many times has a man called you out and said, John, was the last time you looked at pornography, or have you ever looked at pornography? It's like, that just doesn't happen.
Right.
And so finding that man to go into your life that's going to ask you those questions. And there's a guy specific, Jack Cook is his name. I don't know if you know who he is. Phenomenal man of God. When he called me, I knew I was going to have to answer one question at a time. And that question was, have you been studying your word lately? If he called me about nothing related to church, nothing related to ministry, nothing, it'd be about work. And he'd say, hey man, how's your life for the Lord right now? Have you been studying God's word? And I knew that I was going to have to answer that if he asked me that question. I couldn't lie to Jack.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I'd tell him, and I knew that he was that man in my life for I mean, probably 6, 12 months, you know. And I've had several other men in my life that have really poured into me that and just would teach me to be a better man, a better person. So, yeah.
That's good. That's good stuff. My coach used to say you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with. Yeah. And it's so true.
Yep.
It really is.
Yep.
So
surround yourself with a good group of people. I'd say that my biggest thing that I try to always make sure I communicate to people too is that a mentor. I call him a mentor. He's just a dear friend of mine. He told me, he said, there's 4 pillars: God first, family second, your health, and then your job.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, if you get those out of order, stuff starts getting out of order. And so he said, make sure your relationship with the Lord is first and foremost, and then your family is in mind, and then your health, and then your career.
Mm-hmm.
He said, sometimes you got to tell your family, I got to focus on my career. Sometimes you got to tell your health, I got to work some extra hours this week. It's you may not make it to the gym all 4 days. You won't make it twice. But the biggest thing is you can't get the first one out of line.
That's good.
And you got to keep your family important. And without your health, the family and the job suffers. And so I'd say that's like my life, like way I live my life now.
Yeah. That's good stuff, man. That's good. Well, Brent, thank you so much, man. This has been really good. I'm excited to see how it turns out. And thank you all for tuning in. If you have any questions you want us to get to Brent, we'll be happy to do that. But he's got an incredible story. Really appreciate you taking the time to share it. So it's been great. Thank you.